Welcome back, everyone. Today we're going deep, like really deep, into holiday traditions from all corners of the globe. And guess what?
What's that?
Our sources, 3 whole notebooks, and a file simply titled Untitled Document are jam-packed with fascinating stuff about this very topic.
It's amazing, isn't it? When we think about holidays, our minds often go straight to the usual suspects,
Like Christmas, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa.
Exactly. But this time of year is a melting pot of celebrations for so many cultures. It's really incredible.
It really is. And our sources mention a whole bunch, from Diwali, the Festival of Lights, to the Lunar New Year, celebrated across East and Southeast Asia. So much to explore, but instead of trying to cover everything, we figured it'd be cooler to pick a few traditions and really get into the nitty-gritty, unpack them a bit.
I like that approach. It's like savoring a few perfectly crafted dishes instead of stuffing yourself at an all-you-can-eat buffet.
That's a great analogy. Yeah. Okay, so let's kick things off with one that really caught my eye.
Oh, I'm intrigued. Which one?
Krampusnacht. Celebrated in parts of Europe, especially Austria and Germany. And honestly, it's kind of wild.
Krampusnacht, yeah. While good old Saint Nick is out there rewarding the well-behaved kids.
Right.
Krampus, this half-goat, half-demon creature, is dealing with the, let's say, not-so-good ones.
You would say that. Definitely not your typical jolly holiday figure. But something I found really interesting in the sources is that Krampusnacht isn't just about, scaring kids straight.
It's deeper than that, right? It's a powerful example of how traditions often reflect a culture's deeper anxieties even.
Yeah, exactly. Krampus represents, the shadow side of things. The potential for chaos and misbehavior, maybe.
That's a great way to put it, and it kind of makes you wonder if other holidays might have those underlying messages woven in as well, right?
Totally. Speaking of deeper meanings, our sources mention another intriguing tradition, this Indonesian cake called lapis legit.
Ah, yes, I've read about this. Not just a tasty treat, but also a symbol deeply woven into their celebrations.
Oh yeah, and get this, the cake has 18 layers, each one representing prosperity and good fortune. Can you imagine the time and effort it takes to make that?
And the fact that it's such a central part of their holiday celebrations really tells you something. Food, especially during special occasions, it's never just about, filling your belly.
Absolutely. It's a story, a symbol, a way to connect with something bigger than yourself.
Exactly.
Reminds me of how important latkes are during Hanukkah or the Karamu feast during Kwanzaa. Each dish tells a story, carries traditions, brings people together. I wonder, though, do you think there's a link between the complexity of the lapis legit and, the Indonesian concept of prosperity?
That's a fascinating thought.
The effort that goes into making all those layers.
Mm.
Maybe it mirrors the work it takes to build a successful life.
Could be. It's a great example of how traditions can be deceptively simple on the surface, but hold such profound meaning when you really look.
Right. It's like these traditions are little windows into a culture's heart and soul.
Yeah.
But, something else that struck me from the sources is this idea that holiday traditions aren't static. They change over time, right?
Absolutely. Traditions are living things. They evolve. Take the Christmas tree, for instance.
Yeah, what about it?
Initially adopted from pagan winter solstice celebrations, then it gets popularized in Victorian England, and boom, global phenomenon. And of course, every culture that adopts it adds its own little spin, its own unique touches. It's fascinating.
It really shows how traditions are constantly being shaped and reshaped. Mm-hmm. And, thinking about how globalized the world is becoming.
Yeah.
Makes you wonder, right? Will all these distinct traditions start to blend even more? Mm-hmm. Will we see these new hybrid celebrations pop up as cultures mix and mingle more and more?
It's definitely possible. I mean, we already see this kind of cultural fusion happening everywhere, right?
Yeah.
Food, music, fashion.
Yeah.
So why not holidays too? It's exciting to think about how traditions might merge and create something totally new.
Totally. Okay, so let's keep digging into these traditions. Another one that jumped out at me from our sources, Diwali, the Festival of Lights.
Oh, Diwali is huge, celebrated by over 1 billion people around the world, primarily Hindus, Jains, and Sikhs. And it's not just one day, it's a 5-day festival.
5 days, wow, that's commitment. Our sources say it symbolizes the triumph of good over evil, light over darkness, knowledge over ignorance.
Powerful stuff, right.
Yeah.
And one of the most visually striking things about Diwali is, well, the visuals. Homes are decorated with all these diyas, these little oil lamps that represent hope and, pushing away negativity.
Right. And the sources also talk about these intricate Rangoli designs.
Oh, yeah.
Patterns made with colored powders, rice, even flower petals. Talk about artistry. It sounds absolutely stunning.
It is. And these designs aren't just there to look pretty. They're often passed down through generations, carrying cultural significance and meaning. Some symbolize prosperity, good luck. Others are meant to welcome deities into the home. It's a beautiful blend of art and spirituality.
It really is. And it just shows how much depth there is to these traditions. But it's not just about the visual spectacle, right? Our sources also highlight the importance of generosity and community during Diwali.
Absolutely. Acts of kindness and charity are a central part of the celebrations. Families exchange gifts, share sweets with neighbors, and donate to those in need. It's a beautiful reminder that celebrating isn't just about personal joy, it's about sharing that joy and giving back.
I love that. Okay, so we've gone from the shadowy world of Krampus to the vibrant lights of Diwali. Now let's jump over to another celebration that gets quite a bit of attention in our sources, the Chinese Lunar New Year.
Ah, yes. Lunar New Year. It's celebrated by many cultures across East and Southeast Asia, and it marks the start of a new year on the lunisolar calendar. It's a time for family reunions, big feasts, and traditional rituals to attract good fortune in the year to come.
Sounds kind of similar to New Year's celebrations in a lot of Western cultures, but with a unique twist. What really caught my attention from the sources, though, was the mention of dragon and lion dances.
Oh, yeah. Those are iconic, super vibrant performances, often with drums and cymbals, believed to bring good luck and ward off evil spirits.
They seem like such a powerful expression of cultural beliefs. And from what our sources say, the symbolism runs even deeper.
For sure. The dragon, for example, is this mythical creature in Chinese culture that represents power, strength, and good fortune. The lion, too, symbolizes courage and protection. It's an amazing way to bring those values to life through performance and celebration.
It makes you think about how those dances first started.
Right.
Like, have they always been part of Lunar New Year celebrations, or did they evolve over time?
That's a great question, and it highlights this idea we keep coming back to, that traditions are constantly evolving and adapting. Some things stay the same, but every generation adds its own spin on things.
It's like an ongoing conversation, each generation adding a new verse to the song. Okay, before we move on, I got to ask about the food.
Of course, always room for food.
Our sources mention this sticky rice cake called nanangao that's popular during Lunar New Year. And the name itself is so interesting.
Tell me about it. Nian Gao sounds almost identical to the Chinese words for higher year.
Oh, wow.
Making it a symbol of progress and prosperity. It's not just a treat, it's like you're eating good fortune.
That's so cool. It's amazing how much meaning can be packed into food. It's like you're literally consuming good fortune.
Exactly. It's a really powerful way to connect with your culture and its values.
Totally. So we've explored traditions from Europe to Asia, each one unique in its own way, but with these common themes of light, hope, renewal, and community running through them. It's incredible how these themes transcend geographical and cultural boundaries.
Yeah, it really highlights our shared human experience, doesn't it?
It really does. And as we keep going deeper into this topic, I'm really curious to see how these shared human desires are reflected in traditions across even more cultures.
Yeah.
It really makes you think, all these traditions passed down over generations, they connect us to something so much bigger than ourselves.
I agree. And with the world becoming more interconnected, it really makes you wonder about the future of these traditions, doesn't it? Like, will they stay distinct, or will we see more, blending and merging as cultures interact more and more?
It's a fascinating question, and it's something our sources actually touch on. One of them even suggests that globalization could lead to this kind of melting pot of traditions, like elements from different cultures combining to create something totally new.
It's an interesting idea. Some people might worry that it'll dilute cultural identity, but I think it's also a huge opportunity for creativity and understanding between cultures. I mean, imagine the possibilities, the new ways of celebrating that could emerge.
Yeah, it's almost like these traditions, passed down for centuries, could be entering a whole new phase.
It makes me wonder how we as individuals play a role in all of this,
Absolutely. It's about striking that balance, I think. Honoring the traditions we inherit, but also adding our own personal touches, our own interpretations. It's a way to keep traditions alive, to keep them relevant.
So it's not just about repeating what came before, it's about shaping traditions for the future.
Exactly. And it all comes back to the heart of these celebrations, right?
Yeah.
Connecting with people we care about, strengthening our communities, finding meaning in the cycles of life. It's about celebrating our shared humanity no matter where we come from.
That's a great point. So as we wrap up this deep dive, what's your biggest takeaway? What really stuck with you from all these amazing traditions? For me, it's realizing that while traditions might look different from culture to culture, they all serve a similar purpose: bringing people together, making connections stronger, and creating memories that last. Whether it's lighting those diyas during Diwali, sharing latkes for Hanukkah, or exchanging gifts on Christmas Eve, these rituals give us a sense of belonging and continuity.
Beautifully put. And it's a good reminder, especially with all the craziness of the holidays, that the real magic is in those moments of connection and shared experience.
I couldn't agree more. And as we head into this festive season, I'd encourage you, our listeners, to approach your own celebrations with a sense of curiosity and openness. Maybe try a new recipe inspired by a tradition you learned about today, or look into a holiday you've never celebrated before. Who knows, you might just find a new way to connect with the world around you.
That's the perfect way to end this. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into holiday traditions around the world. We hope you've gained a fresh perspective on the many ways we celebrate and a newfound appreciation for the power of tradition to bring us all together. Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep celebrating.